admitted Karen though, so that helps. At least you've diagnosed the problem already.
Me?
Yeah, you've called yourself a Karen on air before.
I don't know that.
I'll have to remember which episode it was.
Pull that out of the clips. I don't know.
I forget which one it was, but I'll have to find that. But yeah, it was.
Go to the archives.
Yeah, I can't remember which episode it was, but I thought it was kind of funny because I don't really picture you as a Karen, but
No.
but you were the one that said it, so
I'm gonna blame it on whiskey.
Fair enough. Might have been the Whiskey Rebellion episode.
No, Cameron would drink a White Claw.
Hey,
Jeff drinks hard cider. I don't know.
Artisan hard cider, though. Artisan. What's up, Daylight Burners? We got a one of a kind. We're letting the hen rule the roost tonight, or something like that. But we got the first ever all ladies bull session. So we got Miss Jen Hill, Sam Bierig, also known as that white bitch Sam, and Kate Bowen and Katie Hanlon, all ag type gals, all work with cattle in some way, shape, or form. And they all have a pretty good sense of humor. All been on the show before. Kate, you have been on the show. I think you were calling, weren't you, Katie? During the
it was back in the
Jamie Joe saga. That was a fun time. I'll have to get everybody else's opinion on Jamie Joe. It was a wild one. But thanks everybody for tuning in. I think this will be a fun episode. I'm gonna just say it now before we'll just get it out of the way right up front. Calm down, Karens. It's all just a joke. And no, I appreciate it. It's always good to get a different point of view on you guys all work in a very, I guess I'd say, male dominated industry, and but you somehow put up with a bunch of bullshit and still work with cows. So I guess I'll hear from your point of view on that type of deal. And so Sam, you're cattle manager, is that right? If I remember right. Okay.
Yep. I'm a cattle manager on a 16,000 head feedlot.
How many other ladies working out there with you?
Not including the office gal, just me.
Yeah.
Because I'm operations.
Okay. I don't think I've ever worked at a feedlot that didn't have several women on the actual, not besides the office gals, but like out on the crew. And yeah, I don't know. I also grew up with a bunch of sisters. I lived with a bunch of girls at college, and I don't know if that has shaped my focus or made me more able to communicate with women. But at least it makes me think I do. So that's all that really matters. Being it's a man's world and all. That's all that matters in my head. So that's what I'm rolling with.
Right.
Kate, you're rolling your eyes way too much. We're having fun here.
I'd like to ask Ro her judgment on how well you communicate.
No, don't ask her. She's no, just don't do that. Yeah, she's at Bible study tonight while I'm at home doing the important stuff. So, we're solving women's issues tonight, and then she's at Bible study. So, priorities,
Right. She's got it figured out, right?
Yeah. Somebody's got to keep this this whole shit wagon in a semi-straight line.
Right in the ruts. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Katie, you are you're a ranch hand, and so you're not you're on a kind of medium-sized operation. How many other folks work out there with you?
It's just 3 of us out here full time. My ranch manager and one other ranch hand, and then we have a part-time cowboy that comes out when we call him, and him and I go out and get all the cattle work done for the most part. And that's about it. It's just the 3 of us on the daily, though.
Right on. And then Jen, do you guys have hired hands, or you just do like day help from time to time, or?
So this year we were unable to get our Peruvian because of Corona. So that's been fun.
Oh.
But typically we've got
Do they
one
even drink
hand.
Corona in Peru? Because that doesn't seem fair.
I don't know. I know the Peruvians though have been reaching out to us telling us they're miserable being stuck with their families all year, that they're not used to
that.
Yeah, right now it's just me and my husband, and my in-laws are out, and since it's summer, the kids are free labor.
That's the only reason anybody has kids anymore, isn't there?
Exactly.
Or at least in rural communities. Like as soon as they can pick up a shovel or saddle their own horse, then they officially become a human at that point, I think is how that works.
Yeah, when the schools shut down, we were like, great, get to work.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a bunch of my city buddies telling me they're going to send the kids to come spend the summers with me. Shit, as long as I don't have to pay them, yeah, send them my way. I don't care. And Kate, I guess we've talked about your place quite a bit, but it's basically just you and the fam, isn't it? Or do you have some like day help?
Once in a while, like when we're haying or doing logging, we'll have some higher help. But right now, it's just my husband, and then we have a 14-year-old son, so he's pretty capable, and he does more work than we'd be able to get out of more hired hands. So it's just the 3 of us. So yeah, tomorrow's a big day. We're going to be trying our new butchery room and slaughtering up a bunch of chickens. So that's what we're up to.
Hell yeah. Are these gluten-free, hormone-free, free-range chickens?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're very gluten-free.
They better be super gluten-free.
Antibiotic and hormone.
Yeah, lemongrass fed too. That's the ticker.
Yeah, I feed them a lot of scotch. It kind of helps tenderize the meat from the inside out.
You might be onto something. There. But you know who doesn't feed their beef lemongrass? Stetson Ranches. Stetson Ranches there in Fromberg, Montana. Lead sponsor of Burning Daylight. Great family. They're working on building a multi-generational, sustainable, not in the AOC version of sustainability, but actually sustainable, raising multiple families through multiple generations on a ranch up there in southern Montana. They are doing direct-to-consumer beef. They're running registered Angus cows, registered Hereford bulls, throwing F1 Black Baldy calves, and they are feeding now. I just got off the phone with Jesse earlier today, and I had to revamp some of my ad read here because they're not choice. They are guaranteed prime on all their beef. And you're looking at packages as low as an eighth of a beef for right around $6.95 a pound. So right about hamburger price, you're getting every cut of meat that's on the animal, and you're your weight there will vary depending on the animal, but you're still getting high quality prime beef for the price of what you'd pay it for hamburger in the store. And that tube of hamburgers only got meat from one animal, not 500 or 600 like you would from the big packers. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this one, you know where it comes from, you know who raised it, and you know who fed it. It's excellent beef, excellent family. They've also they've delved into the industrial hemp game. They've got about 500 acres in industrial hemp right now, as well as some really, really nice old foundation quarter horse bloodlines. Got several 2 and 3 year old colts on the ground ready to go with mares get either just dropped colts or getting ready to, and just really, really nice family, excellent operation, very forward thinking folks, and I'm very honored to have them on the show as a sponsor. So you got any questions about the beef, send me a message over at Burning Daylight on Facebook, and we'll get you hooked up. Their website is coming soon, still being revamped, but stetsonranches.com. Go follow Jesse on Instagram at Jesse Stetson. That's 1S, Jesse, Stetson, like the hat. Next up, we got Loma Livestock there in Loma, Colorado, in Jen's neck of the world. George, good buddy of mine, he's running the best goddamn sale barn in North America. Will be the world whenever I decide to say that in my ad read, but as of right now, it is verifiable fact. Best sale barn in North America. Got a sale every other Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I believe next Friday is their sale. If you got any questions for them, give them a holler, 970-858-9988. Check them out online, lomalivestock.com. And if you can't make the sale tomorrow, okay, tomorrow, 10 a.m., or are they doing it early? 8 a.m. because they're true cattlemen and cattle women over there.
I'm here to do your ads for you.
That's why I brought you on, damn it. Good work. Don't expect to be paid. But tomorrow, 8 a.m. Yeah, cows and singles. And if you can't make it, don't worry. Head over to dvauction.com, click on the Loma Livestock tab, and you can watch them right there. And finally, we got Mr. Matt Wilson out of Silver Lake, Oregon, making handmade bridle bits for the working cowboy, by the working cowboy. This is a really neat family there in Oregon. Really talented musicians, artists in the true sense of the word. And Matt is kind of a buckaroo type cowboy, but he knows a good bit when he sees one. He knows how to build one even better. And he's making them for the working cowboy. So you're not going to break the bank. You're going to pay a little bit because it's handmade, it's custom, but you're not going to go into poverty over it. And he does just damn good work. The one I've got, I ride it on a couple different horses, and they both love it. Fits nice, well balanced, good weight, and it looks cool as hell. It's a cowboy spurring down a T-Rex. Coolest thing ever. So anyways, if you'd like to check out his work, get in touch with him. You can follow him on Instagram at Wampuscat Sound, WAMPUSCAT Sound, all one word. And with all these guys, let them know that you heard about them on Burning Daylight. So, all right, back into it. You ladies have any topics you wanna put forth before the world, so your voices can finally be heard on this major, huge platform I've got here.
Well, I kind of thought the only woman that was allowed to talk about ag these days was Tommy Lahren. So,
well, she's very nice to look at. I truly don't know what she says, but she is very nice to look at. She's still around. I honestly, I haven't watched cable news in about 4 years. So she's still out there doing her thing.
Last I'd heard, she got fired from Glenn Beck, didn't she? And then RCAF picked her up for a while, and she was doing all their ads. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
she was. Yeah, she's still tweeting away too.
The fiery woman. I listened to her stuff on RCAF, and she brought up some good points, just like Bill Bullard brings up some good points. But it's I don't know. I have no real problem with RCAF. I have no real big allegiance to RCAF either. And but once you've heard one of their speeches, you've pretty well heard them all. It's just kind of more of the same every time you hear them. It's not like or unlike any cattle association. I think they all pretty well say the same talking point. I guess not even just cattle associations, just anything dealing with politics. It's just the same talking points over and over and over until you get Kanye, and then he screams about how he's wanted to abort his daughter. Still probably not as crazy as Biden versus Trump. I don't know. But it really weighs heavily on the scale of we're living in a simulation. I'm still pretty well set on that one.
It's good. Yeah, I think so.
If you just lay out the events from the last year and just lay them out chronologically, but like present that to somebody from like 5 years ago, they would have institutionalized you, because they're like, no, this person has no grasp on reality. They are not living in a real space. And well, here we are. We all ought to be institutionalized after this year. Holy shit.
I keep waiting for Morpheus to show up with the red or blue pill.
Well, there's a lot of people that need to go ahead and just take a whole bunch of them red pills, because from what I can tell, there's still a lot of people that still think the government can be good. If we just get our people in there, it'll be good. I don't know.
But Yeezy
How's
dropped out, didn't he?
What's that?
Yeezy dropped out, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he was promoting an album, which he got a lot of attention. I don't know how many albums he sold, but he got a lot of attention. He does know how to do that.
It was weird though that his family came out and said that they were concerned about his mental health. Like, you don't really want to have your family saying that when you're just getting out in the presidential game.
Yeah, well, you would think not, but hell, Biden's the you listen to the polls, he's the front runner.
Oh my gosh, it would make me feel so much better if Biden's family came out and said they were concerned about his mental health, because I just want someone to care, because it feels awkward that I should feel so bad for him.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, I don't get where the this is one of the years where like I just don't see an end game for like, it's not a real clear end game. Like, I know they want Trump out of there, but like, are they really that just out of people that Biden is your go-to? Like, Trump's not real popular. He's got his base and they really like him, but they're a pretty severe minority. And it just seems like every time, they say, and this is what's going to do Trump in, and then they just shriek even louder on the left and go even crazier. And like, even a lot of left-leaning people are just like, oh, you guys are fucking nuts. And I don't know, maybe they're just that out of touch with reality, but I just don't get their tactics. I'm confused by them.
You think the Boogaloo's coming?
I don't know.
Not soon enough.
Yeah, I kind of want it to happen, but I want to be like a casual hermit spectator. I just want to like watch it all unfold from my bunker.
Huh?
But I don't know. It's I thought about. I asked a bunch of the boys if they wanted to get some coonskin caps, and are we allowed to say coonskin? Is that kosher? Probably
I don't-
not.
It might not be.
Damn it! I just hit 1,000 downloads for the first time the other day, and now I'm gonna be canceled. God damn it! All right, raccoon skin caps. No, fuck
There
that.
you go.
Coonskin
That is
caps
so
and
politically
muskets. And I just want to go defend the federal court building in Portland. Not that I have any attachment to a federal court building. I just want to play Alamo for against some Antifa boys.
That's the spot to do it.
Yeah, I just but I want like full on like smoothbore musket. You know, a full 90 seconds to reload.
Yep.
To do it.
Yeah. Well,
I mean-
maybe Trump's goon squad will come save me in between reloading. I don't know. But
A little drone strike in between.
yeah. Jen, what's your thoughts on these goons up in Seattle and Portland just like snatching Antifa off the street? Like, I don't want to be a fan of it, but I'm kind of a fan of it.
It's just funny that they're begging for the libertarians to give a shit. Like,
I know it.
Sorry, bud.
I know. Is it Eric July that was like, I don't like either side. So that's kind of how I am. Like, well, I don't know. It's I guess
This
technically
is the
it's
system they wanted. Suck it.
yeah. So I they wanted no.
That one's a good one to be a spectator on. It's just like watching UFC fight, and you don't really have a fighter you're rooting for, so you're just like, this is gonna be good.
I'm a big fan of the Portland mayor getting tear gassed though, because I don't know anything about that guy. I just know that Portland is a fucking just dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And so it couldn't have happened to a better person to get tear gas. That guy is a douchebag. And so I'm like I said, I shouldn't be a fan on principle. It was fuck the feds and everything, but yeah, they kind of had it coming. And I'm not all that tore up about it. Not a hill I'm gonna die on. I'll just watch it unfold and make memes. What was everybody's reaction to Burger King just severing every last bit of contact with the beef producing world?
Oh man,
they're so disgusting anyways. So I don't even like get how people eat there in the first place. I mean, like, I don't like what they did, but
true.
I just think that they're disgusting anyways. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can I just
I was a big fan of
how is that not cultural appropriation?
Well, you see, as the lone person of color on this screen here, you just don't understand our plight. Oh shit. Yeah, you're right. It was cultural appropriation if you give a shit about all of that. But
right, I think we got our own movement.
Yeah, we got to get a catchy hashtag though. I don't know.
We need a hashtag or a sweet acronym or something going on.
Yeah.
So I hope that kid got a boatload of money. Otherwise, he'll be yodeling in Walmart again pretty soon.
Yeah, he. I kind of live out in the sticks, so I'm not real up to date on what's popular in the cities. But I don't think yodeling's made a real big comeback in the urban scene or the suburban scene, and not much of the rural scene. So I would say that his potential customers probably do eat at Burger King, and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I hope he got a pile of money. It was catchy. I will say that it was catchy,
Right.
but I don't know. I felt about like this not quite as pissed off as I was about Levi's, because Levi's 501s are the perfect pair of jeans. Can't buy them anymore. Can't buy them.
Got me.
Yeah, fuck Levi's. But that's what I thought about. Because of all the, besides like In-N-Out, all the fast food burgers, I think Burger King's probably the best one out there. And then I was like, well, God damn it. Now I can't eat Burger King.
You like
I
Burger
like Flame
King?
Burger Whopper. I do.
Oh God,
He has no
I
taste.
do.
I do.
I can't.
I have a taste for flame broiled goodness. That's what I did have a taste for it, and now I don't know.
Well, then it's a good thing that this happened, so you don't have to eat there anymore because it's terrible.
Well, I don't know. I can't tell you the last time I ate at Well, actually, I can. It was when I ate the Impossible Whopper. That was disgusting. Like that was gross. But I knew that was going to be gross going in. But I don't know.
That's what she said.
Nah.
That was good. High five.
Bam. Yeah,
I'm complete without one of those. This whole video session.
Yeah, I haven't made a dick joke yet, so you just wait. Yeah, I don't know. Like the way like all these big corporations are going so like just super woke. It's kind of fucking creepy, but gives you a reason to start supporting the small town folks that everybody's been bitching and complaining about, but still not supporting for the last 30 years. But I don't know. I guess I wasn't like, I'm not a public boycott guy. I'll tell you if I'm gonna not support somebody, but I'm not gonna actively call somebody to boycott. But I was very close with Levi's. But I was just really pissed because like I said, they were my favorite pair of jeans, and now they're, a portion of that's going to strip away your gun rights. So fuck that. I'll be uncomfortable and still well armed.
Yep.
Yeah, I had something else I was gonna. Wasn't there some other big thing in ag news here this week? I can't remember what it was, but damn it, I had it rested at the tip of my tongue. Oh well. Jen and I guess Kate too. I don't know, Sam and Katie. I don't know how closely you follow libertarian politics, but what's your thoughts on Joe Jorgensen?
What a shit show.
I haven't been following her much. I've heard just on some podcasts, I know that she like catered to Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, so she tweeted out that we must be actively anti-racist, whatever the hell that means. And I thought Michael Malice said it the best. He responded back and said, "You lost me at we and must."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you're the party of individualism and individual liberty, and there's not really much we going on there, or must. Yeah, we should is a better. It's still not a good libertarian start of a sentence, but it's better than we must. That's yeah. I don't know what to read into that. Like I've listened to her and she seems pretty solid. but there's no excitement behind her. Like Gary Johnson had more excitement than she did. I didn't know who she was till like a couple weeks ago. And yeah, I guess I'm not real ingrained into Libertarian Party politics, but I would have thought that I'd at least have heard of her before, but I honestly had never heard her name until she got the nomination. So that's not a real good sign to start with. And because if I don't know who she is, 95% of the country ain't gonna know who she is. And I don't know, that's not a good starting point. But then she's not. I don't know. She seems solid, I guess, but it's another squandered opportunity, I think.
Yeah, and anyone who's sort of has deep roots in that education, like liberal education field, might not be my cup of tea. You know, she's been in the psychology field. I mean, she's worked at IBM too, but I think that she's probably all intertwined with social justice warrior stuff, even though she's a libertarian.
Yeah, and she's been in the LP for a long time.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
But yeah, they've also been a shit show for a long time too.
Yeah,
it doesn't help that like libertarians can't agree with themselves, let alone another libertarian. But yeah, it is. I don't know.
And it doesn't help when the vice presidential candidate's running around on stage naked either.
Is he the guy? Is that the? Oh, huh. Okay. Well,
classy.
So yeah, they're not going to do anything this year. Huh. They'd have been better off with Vermin Supreme. He'd at least got some attention. And he's pretty solid when he does speak. If you get past the boot on his head. I don't know. It's a fucking shit show out there. That's the only way I can. It's weird because like just around here in town and right here close, like everything's pretty normal. There's masks and signs up where you have to wear a mask, and you see a lot of people wearing masks, but most people aren't enforcing it. Actually, pretty well nobody's enforcing it. But then I don't know, like you read the news and like fucking Portland, they're burning that place to the ground. Apparently everybody in Texas and Florida is going to die from the COVID. If you listen to, especially like, have you guys been on Drudge Report lately? Holy shit. For like the last month and a half, it's just been nothing but like, we're all going to die headlines.
Yeah. That's all I've been seeing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
but
crazy.
before this though, it was we were all gonna die because of climate change. Then we're all gonna die from COVID. Now I don't know if it's just none of us are worth living because we're all so racist and just horrible. So it's just such a depressing narrative. It's so exhausting and toxic and divisive. And it's so dramatic. I mean, I understand the fear and, each thing has some truth wrapped up in it,
yeah. They never outright lie. Or, well, not never, but most of the time they don't outright lie.
Yeah, it's just the, Alinsky tactic of just saying crazy stuff enough times that then you believe it's true. And I just don't know what's next. Like it works you up so much. Eventually people are just going to spontaneously combust because their blood pressure is going to be so high. You can't ride this.
Well, like they've been on just an increasing progression of outrage. Like they hit like a new peak outrage level every day for the last 5 years now. And at some point, like, is there a cap on? Is there a glass ceiling of outrage that they're trying to break through, or what?
Yeah.
Women's rights joke.
Well, I think it's going to get real ugly about 6 weeks from now because the school situation is kids start to go back and everything is a giant freaking mess.
Yeah.
And parents aren't going to know what to do, and it's just going to blow up in their face. It's going to get ugly.
Are you still homeschooling, Jen?
So no, my kids are back in school, and then I've been teaching for the last year and a half. My daughter's teacher had cancer, kind of got roped into stepping in and filling his spot. So in and out of the district, I guess.
Yeah, it's it's a freaking zoo over here. The school that my wife teaches for is like they don't have. I don't think they have any fucking clue what's going on.
No,
and
nobody does.
And we're planning on homeschooling once they get in like junior high and high school, anyways. Because like the history teacher here told me, they're friends of ours, like American history class nowadays starts at Reconstruction. Like they don't even like gloss over anything before that. They just know American history started at 1866 or whatever, whenever Reconstruction officially started. And well, there's some pretty monumental events in the course of history that happened just shortly before that. Just slight bookmarks in history that you might want to pay attention to. But yeah, I don't know. I think we'll do public school till you start having to learn like real life stuff, and then we'll probably homeschool.
Well, I did get called a liberal hippie teacher last year by a parent for teaching about Rosa Parks.
Oh yeah, well,
she was pretty entertaining. He asked me why I couldn't cover the good stuff.
Rosa Parks makes you a hippie liberal. That's funny.
I don't know where you guys live, because I just feel like I'm from basically Portlandia, so
yeah. So we got
so different.
Yeah, so I've always lived in a rural area other than college, but even then, that was before Fort Collins got like super lefty, radical, and it wasn't. Like it's huge now. I don't even like to go back to visit anymore. It's just too busy.
A lot of Colorado.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Colorado's gone.
Yeah.
California just colonized it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we'll secede. The western half of the state. We've got the river anyway, so we'll keep the name Colorado, and the rest of them can just be like Western Kansas.
See, I don't even want to be part of Western Kansas if I was to move back, because all of Kansas, they claim to be this big diehard Republican state, but they will tax the dog fuck out of you at any given chance. Republican governor or not, they'll still tax the shit out of you. It was Colorado was going pretty hard left when my dad was in office, when he was 04 to 12, so yeah, almost 10 years ago when he left. And it was going pretty hard left then. And it's just worse now.
Yeah.
Well, now we've got the wolf reintroduction that's going to be on our ballot this fall. And you've got all of Denver that's going to decide that we need wolves, and they won't live with the consequences at all. It's tyranny of the ballot box.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I mean, they'll live with them when they start coming down to the city and taking out their little fifis.
Yeah, they'll. It'll have. It may be several years from now, but there'll be some real serious consequences to all that shit. But it sounds though like after last summer with the big fires in California and Trump really kind of using the bully pulpit on grazing and forestry. They're starting to change some of that in California. It sounds like I don't know, but it's amazing as you look at like Idaho and Wyoming, Montana not so much, but like Idaho and Wyoming, they do a lot of logging, and not that they don't have fires, but they don't have near the number or like the size of the fires that California and Nevada have. And a lot of that is just because they log and they keep it they keep the undergrowth down, and there's less fuel for it. But that I don't know how that doesn't equate to like I just don't know how people don't think logically or like critically. It just doesn't. I can't comprehend
It
not
doesn't
thinking
happen
like
out
that.
Yeah. Doesn't happen out here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Like we like Jen, you were talking about the horses back there. My father-in-law was saying, so he grew up here in Nevada, and he said there you'd see a herd of horses here and there, and they were usually like, 30, 40, maybe 50 head. And the ranchers would buy a new stud every so often. They'd run them in, kill off the old stud, introduce a new one into the herd, and keep the bloodlines circulating instead of having just a bunch of just inbred shit. Well, now you can't do that, and you can't kill them. And I worked at a place where they round them up, all on taxpayer dime. They ship them over to a private facility, and they feed them there until I don't think they adopt anything out that's over 6 years old. So anything that's over that just, I guess, feeds out at a feedlot till they die, because you can't slaughter them for human consumption. You can't just euthanize them, and you can't leave that many out on the range, or there's nothing left out there. So you got to do something with them, and because you can't kill them, they just feed out till they die, and we all pay the bill for that.
Well, and we can't even gather them in. So just this last week, we got approval to go ahead and water track some of them. And they brought out some government contractors to check out the area and figure out how that might work. And not a single one of those contractors would go ahead and put a bid in on the job, because it was just going to be too complicated and too expensive with all the regulations to even catch any of the damn things.
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they need a helicopter to chase them, but anytime they get a helicopter out, you get all those little old horse ladies crying on 9 News, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah,
all the horse Karens.
Yeah, horse Karens.
It's a good time trolling through comments in the horse groups on Facebook. That is a good time, and if you just want a good laugh, or to just be real pissed off, or just disgusted with society, go through the comments in a horse group on Facebook. It's pretty confident. Yeah, it's a weird time to be alive. I don't know. That's about all I can have to say about this time.
Stimulation.
I just thank goodness for us all being an ag, because every friend I have is like, hasn't affected me. doing the same thing. We're trucking along, which is nice.
Yeah, it's in the short term, like it really hasn't affected rural life nearly to the extent that it has, like, you know, say New York or even Vermont. Like, you guys are just still pretty well shut down, aren't you, Kate?
It's like a half-assed opening. You know, like they let restaurants open, but I don't know what the percentage is, 30, 50%, you know, so like you can't really make a go of it. They're working on a mask mandate for everywhere. Most stores already, you know, all have that, but yeah, it's pretty weird. It's very troublesome. People are really upset. Like if people feel like you're not taking it seriously, they think you're, you know, completely reckless. They don't care at all about autonomy or individuals' rights, anything like that. It's just that you want to kill their grandma.
Well, maybe their grandma was a bitch. I don't know.
Well, we just got our new alcohol law this week. The governor announced that no restaurants or bars are allowed to serve alcohol after 10 p.m. They can stay open, but they can't serve booze, because if you get drinking, then you might not social distance as much.
Yeah, the curfew, that's freaking ridiculous, because I just don't get, it's all just a control thing. That's what it is. It's just seeing what the government.
On him, I can be drunk by 7.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Or drop all your social distancing by 8, drunk by 7, social distancing out the window by 8.
Yeah.
It's funny because like none of this
colorful in here.
But like none of this is gonna work. Like everybody's going back to normal. That's the funny part, is they put these mandates, they try to regulate what we do, you know, curfews, this and that, and the masks, but I'm still living my life. I'm still doing what I am doing, and I know I'm not the only one. So it's like, life is going back to normal for me, at least. It's always been normal, but everybody's doing their thing. Like swimming pools, people are still going to swimming pools and still having fun, but they're saying you gotta keep 6 feet apart, especially in the pool. It's like, no, like none of it's gonna work. None of it's working.
Well, and I also hate the knee-jerk, like, conservative response too, and that's like, start recording how they're trampling on my rights because this private business is making me wear a mask. Go shop somewhere else. If it's their business, I don't care. I don't agree with them. I've walked out of several gas stations, and I just haven't gone into several other places because I don't carry a mask with me. I don't wear one. I'm not going to. So if that's what they want, so be it. I just won't shop there. Nothing personal to them. I'm just not going to do it. Whatever. But I'm not going to, like, I guess be the, what do they call them? The provocateurs, and just like walk in like, oh my God, this guy is making me wear a mask, and just.
Karens.
I feel like your male privilege is showing, because if I got to take my kids to the dentist or the doctor, I have to wear a mask. I don't get to say, sorry, I can't carry one with me. Must be nice to have a dick.
Well, it is. It really is. And I think it's been scientifically proven that women are not real people yet anyways. I don't think you've reached that part of evolution anyhow. So I mean, I take what you're saying into consideration, but I mean, you know.
But you got to do your part as a man and kind of be like, oh, okay, good job.
They're there.
Yeah, exactly. They're there.
I don't know. I just, this whole thing is getting like, it's getting pretty intense, and I don't know. I think the people that are truly pissed off enough to actually start a boogaloo, they're also too busy running farms and ranches and doing some actual work and not community organizing, which maybe we need more community organizers to fight back. But then again, that's who wants to do that? I don't know. Besides, if I can't take being an advocate seriously, I'm definitely not going to take being a community organizer seriously. So.
No.
Nothing against you, the advocate people. I'm just not a very good one, is what I'm saying. It's, I don't.
I try so hard some days, and then I say something that some people really hate, and then I just screw it all up. So then I try to be quiet. It's like a cycle. So then I try to like stay off social media, try to have good behavior, try to just like share pictures of cows and baby chicks and like some recipes. People really love that when moms share recipes. And then I just fuck it all up again. Like today I just totally screwed it up again. I'm gonna have like hate mail when I open my Instagram tomorrow morning, and yeah, I'm like an alcoholic, but of just talking smack.
Can't stop, won't stop.
And sometimes you'll get on those Facebook groups like the cattle connection shit, and you sit back and wonder if our industry is even worth saving. Could
right
any dumber?
Yeah. I think about that with America too. If you get on any like political group things too. I mean, we have like 8 people who are conservative in Vermont, and everybody wants to kill each other within that group. And I mean, it just makes me wonder. I'm like, was the Constitution a good idea? I don't know. Like, was any of this a good idea? I don't know. I don't know if this is worth saving at this point. I have those thoughts in my brain because it's just so dysfunctional. It's like we need a little bit of a team meeting with the adults in the room and just being like, what is the point of this? You know, because if we are going to break into civil war, I kind of want to make sure that like we're risking it all for a good reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right because I'm not going to take up arms to defend the drug war and the constant overseas interventions. Like no, like we're gonna rebel and take back the government. Like it's gonna be a government that has little to no power. So they can't fuck with me ever. Like that was the design of the whole government that we have now. Yeah. And now it's the biggest government that the world has ever seen.
Trying to take it on now was just crazy.
Well, it's gonna collapse on itself. The thing that is not being talked about enough is how much money they pumped into the economy during this whole deal. Like Ron Paul always kind of gets a bad rap because he brings up the Federal Reserve. Well, the Federal Reserve funds all of everything that is going on. All the bad shit that's going on, that is all made possible by the Federal Reserve and the manipulation of interest rates and quantitative easing, as they calls it. But all they're doing is just adding zeros onto a ledger line and devaluing the price or the value of the dollar. So like we talked about it plenty of time on the show, like a good like top of the line diesel pickup 10 years ago cost like $35,000.
Yeah.
Now they're like a nice diesel pickup brand new is going to run like 80,000. Like you get the top of the line, you're over $100,000 for a fucking pickup.
Yeah.
And they just jumped like, was it like $6 trillion now that they've dumped into the economy since this thing has started? The balance sheet every year is about $4 trillion. So they've a time and a half that is what they've spent in like 4 months. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen the effects of that, but loaf of bread's going to be $12-15 before we know it. Yeah. Just because the more of something you have, like the less valuable it becomes. And law of supply and demand. And when you have just an out of control supply of the US dollar is not going to be worth a damn thing. Like Venezuela, it's happening right now. Weimar Germany, that's what led to Hitler taking power. it's shit like that. And we're seeing it now with these crazy lefties. Like, they were a fringe movement just a handful of years ago. All it takes is one big downturn in the economy, and all the major cities are on fire right now.
And none of us knew that toilet paper would be the hottest commodity we'd ever price.
we just got a Costco order in the other day, and my wife was like, you need to come in the kitchen. And I go in there, and we got one of those big, like 36-roll deal of toilet paper. And my little girl is laying on it. And she's like, does this mean the coronavirus is over?
Well, I think we're looking at either becoming Venezuela or the Balkans. And frankly, the Balkans don't look so bad.
No. That's the nice thing about, Kate, I think you may have to write Vermont off for good. I don't know how they come back from it.
We're in, and no one is worried at all about, I mean, I won't get into like our state budget issues, but like we are in really big trouble. And all of this social justice stuff, which is, fine if people want to do it. But the fact is you can't have social justice when you have no food, and there's no transportation and no bridges anymore and stuff like that. All the teachers' pensions are getting spent.
Food is like nobody probably racist at this point.
Food is racist. We're supposed to just give back to our farmers now. That's what I've been told.
Well, it worked in South Africa.
Yeah, that's going really well for race relations.
Does that mean we can blame Angus beef, certified Angus? It all goes back to them.
Maybe. I think on your end of being the black Herefords, you said 5/8 is what it takes. I think that would be what do they call those? Like a doubloon or something like that. Whatever the old terms for interracial or biracial people. It was like quadroon and a doubloon, and they had a whole system that went down by the fractions of how much African blood they had on them. Pretty fascinating. Yeah.
A new name for the ranch now.
The Doubloon Ranch. Doubloon Cattle Company. I'll have to look up for sure what that term was, but it was, I know they had a, it was like mulatto was one black parent, one white parent, and then like it went down from there, and I forget what it was, but I want to say it was like doubloon, or I don't know.
We qualify as the house slaves, not quite in the field.
Yeah. So like instead of Mexican, you'd be black. Like kind of slightly different colored, but still basically white. But I told my wife the other day that I'm not half Mexican. I'm a spicy gringo.
Spicier?
And she was like, shut up, I'm still too tired.
She was, I believe the term, I'll have to ask some of my ancestors, but I believe the term was cabron, is what she called me. Might have been pendejo, I don't remember, but it was something not appropriate to be said in English on this quality of a platform. So I'll refrain. It's a family-friendly show.
It's very family-friendly.
With some classy ladies on here, you should probably watch your language.
We are pretty classy.
Yeah, just the classiest broads around. Got them all here on Burning Daylight.
That better be the damn title of this show, the classiest broads around.
I can change it. Right now it's Cluckin with the Hens, but I can change it to the classiest broads around.
I like that term. We got to bring back broad.
Broad, dames,
broad's
skirts.
a good one. I like
that.
I love to call cows, you dumb broad. I'm like, what are you doing, you dumb broad? It's my favorite.
See, I'm way nicer than that. Well, there's no middle ground. It's like dummy, or you fucking moron or something like that. But
I thought
it
this
usually
was a
starts
family
with.
show.
I go way more negative than that, Matt.
Same. Well, I have a lot of curse words, but I thought this was a family show.
It's I guess it depends on which family's listening, but seriously, if you're listening to this as a family, like, you need to reevaluate your life.
It's bad parenting. Really bad
Yeah,
parenting.
it is terrible parenting. There
We
should
had a
never
calf
be
last
this
year.
many women talking at the same time ever. I mean, let's just be honest. just
We had a cow last
just
year that
kidding.
lost her calf. And so we kept having to run her in and milk her because she was getting real swollen up and infected. And every time we bring her in, my father-in-law would be like, oh yeah, we got to milk old Big Tits again. And like a week later, my 6-year-old goes to town and starts telling everybody about old Big Tits.
Homeschooling at its finest, right? People are going to start taking Matt's podcast about history and people with those because it's homeschooling. This is a family show.
Yeah, there we go. I'll learn them up right. The burning daylight homeschool curriculum. Pick up a shovel, you dumb shit.
You should do it.
Well, here's today's lesson. Go dig a hole over there. When you're done, come find me. They're done. All right, here's tomorrow's lesson. Go fill that hole back in. Why? Doesn't matter. Just go fill it back in.
Right.
That's how I'm gonna homeschool my kids.
And then
Dig a
charge
hole.
them taxes for it.
Right.
Fuck yes. Yes. Yeah.
Give them their wages and then take part of it back.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So, Kate, you've been homeschooling for quite a while, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, we like it. I mean, it's worked out. I was really pro homeschooling, and my husband was not. And I didn't know how it was going to work, but I've learned a lot, and it has been really good because we're in a really, polarizing community, and that would not have gone over well. Like my kid would go with like a MAGA hat, or maybe not a MAGA hat, but he does wear like an NRA t-shirt, and like that would be hate speech. So he would just get himself into holes he wouldn't be able to dig himself out of probably as a little kid.
See, the difference between here and there is he might still get made fun of for wearing an NRA shirt, but only because the kid that's making fun of him thinks the NRA is a bunch of spineless pussies. And
he should have like a
Second Amendment Foundation.
he should have like a 3%er shirt or something.
Yeah.
No, and it's morphed into much more unschooling, I would say, and like really him focusing on stuff that he likes to focus on, and it's a little bit challenging for me to be okay with that because like I had like some teaching background and stuff like that, and I really want it to be like formal and organized, but he's turning out all right, and who knows what there's going to be in 5 or 10 years anyways. So if you know how to do practical
don't
stuff.
Don't yell at him, but I know you're on the right path because I think he follows me on most social media now. Yeah. So if he learns some new terms, I apologize in advance.
He might teach you some. I must say, like, I don't know, maybe farm kids just grow up with a sailor's vocabulary, but now that he's older, we curse way too much.
I just kind of stopped trying with my kids because like I've worked in a feedlot for the last 11 years. It doesn't get any better, and the guys that try to not cuss all the time get made fun of all the time. So I don't even try anymore, and I just figure, well, they're gonna hear it eventually. At least I can, when they when they do repeat it, because they have a lot. Just now you're not old enough for that yet, and it's worked out pretty good. But there have been some very comical outbursts, particularly from my little girl. She's we always say you got to be joking my ass, and so Sophia she said, Mama, you got to be joking my ass, and she's like, you can't say that. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, Mama, I'm just kidding your ass.
This is the one that's part of the Bloods or Crips. Is that the daughter you're talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my little gangster child.
Yeah.
Funny story behind that clip. She wanted curlers. She wanted curlers in her hair. So my wife put curlers in her hair, and then she's like, well, come over here. Let me take a picture so I can show how good your hair looks. And what she do? She just starts throwing gang signs when it came time for pictures. So
nice. Good for her.
Yeah. Thug life.
Thug life. Yeah, it's hard out there for a pimp.
When we sent our kids to school, we gave them 3 rules. Use the bathroom, don't pee on a bush, no corral language, and don't blame the town kids. They don't know any better.
Awesome. Yeah, my little boy for a while, it took him forever to figure out how to not shit his pants. Boys are disgusting.
So just like a dad one?
Yeah, pretty well.
When's the last time you shit your pants?
That is classified information, and I'm frankly offended
or
by
probably
you asking.
this conversation.
That is classified information, and if I say any more, I'll have to kill you all. No, he was. I was trying to get it through him somehow, because at 2.5, those are not baby shits anymore. That's a man shit, and it doesn't need to be in a diaper. And so anyway, he got fascinated by standing up peeing in the toilet, and he was madder than a wet hen that he was not tall enough to stand up and piss in the toilet. So I took him outside, told him to pee in a bush, and now he just typical little boy. Just next thing you know, you'll see him just waltzing across the yard butt ass naked because he had to go pee on a bush. I kind of don't want to tell him any different till he's in like 5th grade and be like, hey, by the way, you probably shouldn't just strip all the way down when you got to take a leak. But I'm sure my wife will say something well before then. But I'm just
then you get a bunch of girls. We pretty much have to strip halfway down to take a leak.
I also have. I've got a daughter and 2 nieces that are around all the time, and apparently they are incapable of grasping the concept of shutting the fucking door when you got to go pee. Nobody wants to sit you, or nobody wants to see you sitting there on the toilet. Like, you got to do your thing. I understand that. Do it, but shut the damn door. And I don't know how many times I have to say that. Probably another million more. Maybe it'll sink in. Probably not. But anyhow, that's girls are a different breed. I will give it to you though. Boys are gross. The girls are a lot easier on that end, but I think my little girl, she was like 18 months when she was out of the diapers, and it's because we made her take her diaper to the trash can after we changed her, and she was like dry heaving and like started using the toilet immediately after that. and Gus he's just like, hey, I need you over here. I got a mess. You probably need you to come clean this up. He didn't care. Didn't give two shits. Just let it fly. Oh. So what you got to look forward to, Katie and Sam?
This is good birth control.
Holding her fur baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is what I got, and I can put him in a kennel when I'm done. And I don't get trouble for that.
You missed the part about free labor. I haven't had to open a gate in years at this point.
I think I'd rather open a gate though than have all the other baggage.
That's the most expensive gate opener you've ever invested in.
Yeah, exactly. It's in a lot of ways expensive in a lot of ways.
So how big a town do you live in up there in Washington?
Oh, it's not that big. There's only like 2 stoplights. So I wouldn't consider that. I grew up in a town with no stoplights.
That's huge.
I grew up in a county of no stoplights.
Yes.
The only county or the only stoplight in the county was a stop sign with a blinking red light on top of it.
We don't even rate that.
Well, that I didn't get that till I was like a senior in high school. So, and that's only because there's no major interstate in that part of the world. So, 287 meets 160. There's a stop sign with a flashing red light. Big time.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was a good hour and a half to Walmart. And I thought that was pretty desolate till I moved out I drove across Nevada. Holy shit. Some of these towns out here, you're like 3 hours to the nearest town.
It's kind of creepy out spots in Nevada.
Yeah. Have you ever drove like the UFO highway coming up from like Mesquite? That's that's where they have all the that's like you better make sure you don't get below like half a tank. Like if you're below half a tank, you find a fuel stop and get in there because there is nothing out there.
Everything about your vehicle needs to be like A+ driving through those spots.
Yeah, it's because you're down in the southern Nevada, so it's like it's not high desert anyway. I guess it is still kind of high desert, but it's hot high desert, and there's just nothing out there. I guess this would be more towards Kate and Jen. Did you guys listen to Peter Schiff on Joe Rogan the other day?
Not yet.
Oh man, that was good. It was kind of an awkward conversation because they were doing it on Zoom and or Skype, one of the two, and Rogan's terrible on those. So Peter Schiff just kept talking over the top of him, which I thought was awesome because he got his point across. But yeah, he went off on how the Federal Reserve has fucked us and how this recession was a long time coming, which all the libertarians have been predicting it for years now. But that's pretty cool. I don't know how many downloads he got, but I'm sure it was close to 10 million people that heard that. So that's a good thing. As much of as a lunatic that Rogan is on the agriculture side of things, he's open-minded enough to have some good people on there. But I wish he'd have like an actual farmer or rancher out on the show instead of like Joel Salatin. I have no problem with Joel Salatin. Like what he does works for him, but there's no way that's sustainable on not even sustainable. It's not feasible on a large scale.
Well, Rogan even pushes him on that, and he dodges. Rogan will ask him, well, how is that going to impact the price of food? And he just dances real quick and then starts spewing stuff about how we only have 6 growing seasons left in the U.S. soil, and then we're all going to starve to death. And that sounds an awful lot like when they used to say we only had a couple years left of fossil fuels and then we were going to run out of oil and gas.
Yeah.
But here we
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that guy's got some good takes on agriculture in general, and especially like getting in touch with the consumer. As much as as much as I push for that, it's going to be a pain in the dick because people are stupid, or not so much stupid as they're just, well, yeah, they're stupid, but also uneducated and stupid.
And they think that they're entitled. They're entitled about everything because Burger King said you could have it your way.
That's true.
Did you hear his deal about meat insurance though? That people out by him are now selling for $500 a year. That local farmer will put your name at the top of his list. And then if another meat shortage hits, you'll just be at the top. So you'll be sure to still get some meat.
Who was this? That was Salatin?
Salatin on the last Rogan.
Oh, cool. Huh. Well,
it's wild.
I know he's all into the 100% pasture raised stuff, which
right,
I mean that's fine. You can get by with it. That's fine. Kate, that's kind of what you guys do. You've got the feed for it.
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with Joel Salatin, so this is a triggering topic for me. No, I'm just kidding. But
yeah.
He, the two things with him that you have to totally keep in mind is where he's located. So he has the DC, wealthy Virginia market, people who can pay a large amount.
Mm-hmm.
And he also has a really amazing, good for him, but an intern program. So he has a lot of, not that there's no effort and they've put a lot of planning into how they do their internship program, but he has a lot of labor that doesn't cost him anything or very little.
He's the Carol Baskin of regenerative farming. Regenerative.
I wouldn't go that far. That's really terrible. No one is as bad as Carol. Carol Baskin. Joel Salatin does not have dead people buried on his property or anything like that. As far as I know of. No.
Well, Carol Baskin's husband is no longer buried on her property. I mean, he is compost at this point.
He's in the
so, yeah, he's
regenerating.
He is fully regenerated, and rest in peace. Whatever.
So where does a Carol rate above a Karen?
Oh, so you've got the Karen, and then I don't know how familiar you are with South Park, but so you had like Streisand, and then you had the Mecha Streisand. So you got Karen and the Mecha Karen, and then above the Mecha Karen, I think is Carol Baskins.
It's gotta be.
Yeah,
he's way more entertaining though. A Karen is scarier in some ways because it's real, but Carol Baskin is like mythical.
Yeah. Did you see her and her weird ass husband do the cameo with 50 Cent?
No.
Yeah, it was glorious.
Is Kate looking that up right now?
Wait. It's in the club?
Yeah. You can go ahead and throw that up on the screen if you got it.
Yeah, I can't on here. Sorry.
Oh, damn it.
But yeah,
so I think
you should do that.
Okay, let me find it real quick. Yeah, it was it was almost as uncomfortable as the dinner party episode of The Office.
Oh god.
Like
the same girl.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
that might be one of my my favorite episodes, but you're just so uncomfortable the whole time. And that's how I felt watching this.
Was it worse than the Carol Baskin wedding photo shoot? Because that made me really uncomfortable.
With the leash and the collar.
That was
it wasn't.
creepy.
Oh,
It wasn't weird, or it wasn't as weird as that, but it was so awkward. There we go.
Who would have thought that Joe Exotic was going to be one of the more normal parts of 2020? Like when all this started, I thought that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I know. I just said that the other day too. Oh, it's the best.
yeah, 2020 gets like halfway in there, and Joe Exotic's like just this norm for us. We're all about him.
I would pick him for president over Kanye.
Yeah.
No way.
Or Biden.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's Carol Baskin and Howard Baskin at Big Cat Rescue. And we are here with the Crip Mates to wish Charlotte a happy birthday. Go, Charlotte. It's your birthday. We're going to party like it's your birthday. We're going to sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. And you know we don't give a fudge that it's your birthday.
I like how it looks like he's chugging a dick right there.
Happy birthday.
That's enough of that. You guys are all welcome.
She is jammed. I can't believe I never realized that she is like jammed on The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I can stand Jan a little better than I can stand Carol Baskins.
Yeah. Jan scares me.
Yeah. Yeah. They're cut of the same cloth for sure, though.
The same crazy.
That's a crazy woman there. That Carol Baskin.
That's like the perfect topic for this like classic broads conversation is Carol Baskin's like the crazy broad she is.
Be whoever you want to be, unless you can be Carol Baskin.
all you bitches are crazy. Here's an example.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Who would have thought that? Well, actually, like the whole lockdown thing wasn't too bad when Joe Exotic was still a thing. Once everybody ran out of new content, like shit went south real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You lock people up. Right. Yeah, you lock people up for a little while, and if you keep them entertained and it's not nice outside, they'll stay inside and make a party of it. And then it starts getting warm, and there's no new shows coming out. People get a little restless, and apparently everybody gets racist too. So cheers to racism. Woo!
We were always racist. I think that's.
I never stopped trying to be. I don't think. I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird time. So I'm gonna just assume, based on how well I know you and Logan, should the Boogaloo pop off at any given moment, you guys will probably be all right.
My biggest worry is all the jackasses from Grand Junction that show up thinking that this is the place to be.
I know. Like, hey, dude, can you borrow me a gun? Mm-hmm. No, I cannot.
What is, can I have a gun?
Yeah. No. Go buy one yourself. See what that entails.
All the background checks and everything.
Well, and then you got to figure if people start getting hungry, I don't know how many head we can actually like just guard. we'd start losing some to people.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, especially out here where you're on the big grazing allotments. It's a lot of area those cows got to cover to eat. So yeah, you can't keep an eye on them at all times. Just not possible.
Has anyone bought a gun lately? Started?
Not in a while, no.
But gun sales are skyrocketing.
And if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah,
they
don't really have anything left anywhere around here, I don't think. I think it's really slim pickings.
It's slim pickings. It's like a 6-week waiting period on your background check unless you have a concealed carry. Really? Yeah.
It's been really funny to watch all the liberals freak out. What do you mean I gotta wait while you do this background check? Well, those were your laws.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I want to say, in all reality, the Second Amendment debate should be done. It should be over.
Yeah.
But that shit ain't going anywhere. That'll keep coming back up. It should be dead. Should be, but there's one thing I've learned through the last 4 years is like when you think they've gone as crazy as they can possibly go, like making up a whole false narrative that the president is a Russian puppet. You think that might be as low as they can go? Nope, they'll dig deep and they'll just keep surprising you. So
it's a one-upper society. You got to one-up the last head.
There's that, and I also I was on Drinking Bros podcast. They're talking about people have oppression FOMO. They have the fear of missing out of being oppressed. So you've got like a bunch of upper middle class white kids gonna save the world from racism, and yet they've never felt any oppression in their life, so they've got to make up oppression in the form of these microaggressions and whatever other bullshit. And it really is. I've said it for a while. It's the oppression Olympics. It's just who can be the most oppressed, and then and eventually they eat themselves. I mean, you see that with the left wing all the time, and I don't know. It's eventually going to get to the point where everybody's canceled, and maybe we'll be at a clear slate. I don't know.
That sounded like a whole lot of mansplaining to me. I don't know.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm also manspreading at the current moment because it's my office and I can. So I'm gonna mansplain to all you skirts out there listening and trying to wrap your feeble minds around the majestic words coming out of my mouth. But
majestic.
I'm glad you guys are cool. I would yeah, it looked like you want to say something, Kate.
No, I was just thinking, like, I just don't understand how people are just so offended about everything. I mean, I don't know if that's just like my character that, growing up around a lot of guys, doing a lot of sports that were all like male teams. And I don't know, I just don't understand looking for victimhood. I mean, I don't take offense to when guys say something sexist or something. I mean, maybe I would point it out if it bothered me. I might say something, but I wouldn't be. It doesn't wound me.
Yeah,
because I know who I am and I'm comfortable with that. But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't understand it.
I don't get it. I had a good buddy from college. Was he was kind of like a Jeb Bush Republican in college. Jen, you know him, Rob.
Yeah.
He went to law school up in Wyoming, and turned into like Bernie bro, and now they just whatever Democrat is out there because Orange Man bad. But he shared an article about how I think it was when Trump made fun of Biden's stutter or something like that, and how the reporter that wrote this article was very offended, and so he had this really self-righteous rant about how would you feel if the president was making fun of your child or something? And I was like, you are not really even angry about this. Like this subject makes no difference in your life, and you were not really even angry. You just hate Trump. And then he was like, yeah, you're right. I was like, there's no reason for you to have any reaction to this story at all. Like it makes zero difference to anybody except the reporter writing the story. But it's just because Orange Man bad. And like I didn't vote for Trump. I probably won't vote for him this time. But I have defended the guy.
Come on.
I'm gonna write Bill Murray in, I think.
Ron Paul.
Bill Murray's younger and probably more fun. He can make Ron Paul his like Secretary of the Treasury or something, and that'd be just right. But yeah, what a shit choice of candidates. You've got Jo Jorgensen. From all appearances, she's a nice lady, very principled. I don't know. I just I'm not excited about her. And then you've got Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And we had a glimmer of hope with Yeezy, but Yeezy's down, so I don't know. What a shit choice.
A lot of shit choices lately.
Yeah, it really is. I don't know. It's a weird time. I know I say that a lot, but I just can't wrap my head around like most of it that's going on, like, and just in a real short amount of time too. That's the part that scares me. Is it was March? I guess it was Patty's Day weekend is when like the state of emergency was declared, wasn't it? And it's just been, man, just one thing after another since then. And I don't know how much before like everything just kind of snaps, but
well, luckily a lot of the people who are like the doers, like the truck drivers, like all those silent ones, luckily a lot of us are like tough and keep going. We're just used to taking shit, so we just pushing through. So luckily it's a resilient bunch.
Yeah, that's true. And how much you guys buy into the polls that Biden's up like 63% right now or something?
I don't think it's accurate at all.
Doesn't sound believable at all.
No, I don't either.
My opinion.
I honestly I don't see how Trump doesn't win right now unless like the US dollar collapses, which might happen. I don't know. Like it's don't count it out, but I also said like he was a shoo-in unless the economy took a turn into the shitter, and well, it has, and I don't see him losing. But that's strictly because Joe Biden's on the other end. Like Joe Biden. He's more of a shell of Joe Biden than the actual guy. I mean, it's almost sad at this point.
That's totally sad. I'm just hoping that at some point they come out in the next like week or two and they're like, oh, by the way, Joe was on some kind of medication that was making him do this weird stuff, and we fixed it, and he's back on track. Because
I haven't seen medication that has a side effect of like awkwardly sniffing children.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the socially acceptable like pedophilia stuff. That's all okay. That's all okay now.
Oh, and by the way, we've got a convicted child sex trafficker who just magically ended up dead in his jail cell, and now his girlfriend and handler and procurement person for these underage kids is now in jail. Who I think it was the day after she got arrested, they're like, oh, she's got COVID, and now it sounds like she's gonna name names. So I hope so too, but that like doesn't even make us, like, people like me and a bunch of other shitheads out there have to make memes about it for it to get any attention at all. But the media just like glosses over it. And but hey, Texas had like 7 more cases today, so you know, we're all gonna die. Yeah, it's
None of it makes sense either with her, because she was found about an hour from us, and it's not.
She was
like,
up in New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, it's not like it's a very. I'm sure it stood out, you know, like her estate looked pretty fancy. I'm sure everyone in the town knew that she was there. I mean, she didn't just always stay in there. She probably went to the Walmart and, you know, the grocery store sometime. I don't know. The whole thing is bizarre.
Yeah. And yeah, he was tied to a lot of really powerful people. A lot of them. And
she is too. I mean, her family is tied in with all those wealthy Europeans.
Yeah, it's not just a U.S. deal. Like he had ties to the Mossad, which is, you know, the Israeli secret or version of the CIA, basically. And when he was prosecuted for the first time for what was his charge, like soliciting sex to a minor or something like that. Should have got thrown in jail for a long time, got a slap on the wrist, and the prosecutor, who was Trump's labor secretary, was told that he belongs to intelligence, so they couldn't prosecute him any further. And the craziest thing, though, is everybody called it that he was going to get whacked, and he did. Everybody's calling that Ghislaine Maxwell is going to die. It hasn't happened yet, but it will. Don't worry about that.
Time.
Yeah, well, yeah, the corona doesn't act overnight unless it's unless you're going to the bar.
After 10.
But after 10. But if you leave the bar at 10 o'clock and you go to a Black Lives Matter rally, 100% fine. You're golden. Solid.
Totally.
Yeah. That basically makes you invincible, I believe. I'm not sure about the science behind it.
The science is settled.
The science is settled. That's right.
I think the best thing is probably that this group and many of our friends is you'll see a BLM headline and you're like, oh, what are they up to? It's not the right BLM I'm looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. That's happening.
Because that's just another thing to get us pissed off about is the federal BLM. But yeah, it's all right, so I made my prediction end of August. Anybody else? Like, I think we should have a pool set up on the Burning Daylight page of how long does you got 2 weeks, so middle of August. Katie, how about you?
Go ahead. What?
How long till Ghislaine Maxwell suicides herself?
Oh.
Via the Clintons or maybe the Trumps. You don't know. Trump's also tied to Epstein. So
I got a feeling they're trying to string it out a little bit and get more press out of it. So I'd say a month.
So all right. So you're saying August. What is today? 23rd. August 23rd. Sam, how about you?
You know, I think that they're gonna wait longer to do it because they can't do it so close to Epstein. So I'm gonna say 2 months.
Oh shit! September 23rd, and we got. Let's see. We got was that August 6th for Jen and Kate. How about you?
I was gonna say 9/11, like between 9/11 and. So I'm gonna go with that.
Oh man!
See, she thinks September too, so that doesn't make me feel so bad.
Oh, yeah.
That just ties it all in very nicely.
It's kind of like a bow on the conspiracy theory package.
Yeah, I should have. Damn it! I really need to start carrying my tinfoil hat everywhere I go.
Oh yeah,
just for situations.
Well,
like
I've
these.
actually switched to a little bit more of an earth friendly. I'm using old cloths.
Oh yeah, perfect.
It's better. It's better because you can just compost these instead of the tin.
Well, yeah, the tin takes a while. It's an eyesore and all. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Jen, what are you drinking?
Rum, like a grown-up.
Rum. I didn't know that pirates were back in style. But.
Yeah, you can keep your rum.
Yeah, it's I think all right, so we got August 6th, August 23rd, 9/11, 9/23, and I said the end of August. So I'll say August 28th. She will.
That's coming up.
I don't know. That'll have to be a separate bet on how they get it done, because they use the Trident
history. Because it's all going to be Corona.
Yeah, it's true, but maybe they leak.
Every death recorded is Corona.
Oh, I need a producer here so I can see how much all these politicians have tied up into casinos, like how heavily they're invested, because there's odds on how she will die on like the online gambling sites. So if they string it out, they're just that's a cash cow right there. So
we could definitely up the ante.
Yeah. All right. I think how legal would it be if I was to do a giveaway for whoever was closest to predicting the suicide date?
Good thing your wife's at
hard would. How hard would I get prosecuted for that? I don't know what law I'd be breaking either. So, is it ethically right? No, absolutely not. But I don't think it's illegal.
Well, then put me down right now. I'm calling it Shanked by LaFonda.
Oh, LaFonda. That's a good one. Dark horse, pun intended. All right. I'll do it. Fuck it. We'll do Burning Daylight hat giveaway. Whoever is closest to the suicide date of Jelaine.
We're gonna go to hell. We're all gonna go to hell.
I'm pretty sure I got a reserved spot, keeping it nice and toasty for me. So just fit right in. Yeah. I don't know. That's the amazing thing is like the whole world is calling it. Like everybody called Epstein and they did it anyways. And they didn't even try very hard to cover it up. That was the bad part. Is just like, oh, those cameras, yeah, they weren't working. Oh, and the guards were asleep. And we moved his cellmate out that day. Oh, what a quinky dink. My bad. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna pan out with her, but I bet they got something clever up her sleeve. I don't know. They went with the tried and true hanging method with old Jeffrey. I think that would have to be pretty high up the list of how she gets it done. I don't know. I'm not gonna hold out any hope that we actually find out who the pedophiles are, but at least that's out in the open now. You think Tom Hanks is a pedophile?
Yeah, I think
you
so.
do.
I do. I really do. I think so. Huh.
I don't want to believe it. He's such a good actor.
I know. It's gonna make all his movies just be like tainted with it, you know?
I know.
Story's never gonna be.
Yeah, but it's always the ones that you least suspect. So.
Oh, I didn't even think about Toy Story. God damn it. Tom Hanks, you better not fucking ruin Toy Story for me. I will. If you want me to take up arms and start the Boogaloo, you ruin Toy Story for me, and I will be strapped.
Well, a lot of celebrities got tanked on the two movement, so we need the next round on the Epstein pedophilia.
There's it sounds like there's a bunch of them. I don't know. It's
just so gross.
It's weird.
So wrong.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah. It's terrible. I don't know. I don't know where it goes, but I don't know. I've been asking some predictions, like where everything's going from here, because I honestly don't know, and I'm just kind of curious to see what everybody else is.
That's part of the simulation. You're not supposed to know.
Well, I know, but we can take bets on it. But no, I just like I figure that most of the people that listen here, are fairly well read from the people that I've encountered. But there's quite a few, or a wide spectrum of people that follow, and I don't know. I guess so. My prediction is I still think somehow Hill Dog gets in the race, whether that means Joe Biden dies and she's his VP candidate, or he accepts the candidacy and then decides that, oh, hey, I've got dementia now, and but here's Hill Dog. Somehow she's going to end up as the candidate. I still think that's going to happen. I think Trump wins, and I think you see the full implosion of the left wing. We're pretty close to it right now, but I don't think we've seen shit yet. Because if he gets reelected, I almost want him to get beat, not because I don't think he's I don't think he's the best for the job, and I don't even know if he's the best qualified, running out there. He's better than Biden, but if he wins, we've got another solid 4 years of just perpetual freak out, unless it all collapses before that. So I don't know. That's my prediction is Hill Dog gets in somehow, Trump wins again, and you see just full-fledged meltdown from the left wing. And I don't know what that's going to mean for the country, but probably not going to be good. Any other thoughts? Like,
it might be a good shit show to watch, but it's going to be something scary.
I wonder if we'll make it that long. You look at some of the mayors of the major cities like Hancock and Denver that this week told the feds that they weren't going to let them in to contain those protest riots.
Mm-hmm.
And so I keep wondering if we're going to wind up with a line of feds against like the Denver Police Department. What happens when that's happening in cities all around the country? Do we even make it to election?
Well, that's a big thing. Like, what's going on? We got all this small government making really big boy decisions against big government.
Yeah, and they're both awful. That's like there's no good guys in that situation. I don't know, like the mayor here, Katie, you know well, like our governor, or not mayor, the governor is just a giant flaming piece of shit. And so if we want to know what's going to happen in Nevada, we just look at what California's doing, and about 2 days later, Nevada will follow suit, as well as Colorado and Oregon and Washington. They're all pretty buddy, and yeah. So whatever Newsom does, just expect pretty well the rest of the Western states to do the same. You know, at least the ones with Democratic governors, but. Luckily, like when they did the mask mandate here, I called our sheriff, and then I think it was all but 2 sheriffs in the state of Nevada are just like, nah, we're not enforcing that. It's not enforceable. It's not a law, and we're not going to enforce it. And that was a good sign, but now like they started fining some of the big retailers. So like Home Depot got hit, Walmart got hit, and a couple others got hit with big fines for not enforcing the mask mandate. And boy, that's where shit gets done, is when you get the big corporate outfits regulating shit. Man, that's that they've got a lot of sway in Washington, and and in the state governments. So they start pushing back against it, or if they start enforcing it, then I think we're gonna have some real serious issues. But I don't know. It's crazy. Okay, where'd you go?
Hold on, I'm here.
Okay. I say, what's how do you see it playing out, especially being in probably the most liberal part of the country?
I think I'm probably martyred after a brutal murder. No, I have no idea. I'm pretty concerned. I think it's going to really, at least locally, I think we're pretty much destroying our communities. And I think people often have a fantasy about what tribalism looks like. And I don't think, just from a little bit of like history that I've read, I don't think that like we want to go back to like clans fighting clans and stuff, which is basically like gangs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a pretty picture, and it makes for really slow development. Like, you're not going to get some vaccine you want when people are feuding over, water or something. It's just, I see it just completely being terrible for a lot of people for a while. And that, I don't know how you prepare for something like that. It's great to have like dried beans on hand and like, lots of Band-Aids and toilet paper. But when your community breaks down around you and families get divided and split because of polarization of viewpoints, and, there's no safe schools, there's no reliable jobs. I think we're sort of all pretty privileged in agriculture because we probably all have some common skills that are great for, resiliency and preparation. But I don't know. I don't know what happens when you have lots of people from urban locations coming into your rural locations demanding. I mean, these are people who are very entitled, who expect to have food, shelter, water, healthcare.
It's kind of a catch-22 because
I don't know.
We need people to get out of the cities, but we also don't want them. We want them to stay the fuck away from where we're at too. So, get out of the cities, just move somewhere else.
Which is what's happening in most recent times, is so many are moving out thinking, oh, I want this rural lifestyle, and they really just move out and change it all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 100% right. Oh, I don't bring up colonialism here. This is a PC show. I don't know. I don't think we've seen the worst of it yet. Hopefully, I guess kind of to wrap it up on what's this mean for agriculture? I've been thinking a lot about that. I think there's a lot of positive that comes for us in the ag industry. Possibly also a lot of fucking headache. As you just mentioned, there's all those people that we need to connect with that buy our food that we don't want to interact with at all. So there's that whole deal.
As things fall apart, we're going to have to get more hyper local. And I think a lot more of us are going to look more like what Kate is doing and really pushing the direct to consumer stuff. Just in the last few months, we've been selling ground beef out of the back of the truck like a drug dealer almost, trying to get people their meat. It's going to have to be a lot more direct to consumer.
Extra pure.
Yes.
Is that some of that imported Colombian beef by chance?
Namibian, actually.
Namibian. I guess I meant to ask you the other night. What I know there's the whole conspiracy theory, and being a conspiracy theorist myself, I've looked into this. How does NCBA not know that's a bad look to have their logo on the same webpage as World Wildlife Foundation? Like, I know that they're not actively working against the cattle producer, but know your audience.
Okay, but can I straw man for just a second and say, how does RCAF not know that going in with HSUS looks kind of bad?
I covered that myself too. Yeah,
I also. That's the point. They're all
exactly. That's and that was my. It's funny. It's actually a kind of a proud point for me. Actually, it's really a proud point. So I interviewed Bill Bullard. Got a lot of downloads off of that. Interviewed John Robinson from NCBA. Got a lot of downloads. And then I did a rebuttal to both of them. And I've still got more downloads than both of them. Bam. And I just basically I said, yeah, they both fucking suck. They both make some good points. Neither side is going to compromise with the other. And at the end of the day, you are paying money into an organization that is going to spend it how they see fit, not how it's going to help you, the member, producer, whatever. I think they still serve a role, but I don't know.
But that said, it all comes back. So we've had really a great relationship with our local cattlemen's, the state level, Colorado cattlemen's.
Yeah.
And I would recommend people really get involved with that local level, just like all things government. The closest you can get to the source, the better off you're going to be. And they have stood by us a lot, and they've been a great resource. Yeah,
Colorado Cattlemen's is it's an excellent group. Yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, like, you know, those big organizations, they play a pretty vital role. Just how we're set up now. Like, you got to lobby. It has to be done. The beef checkoff deal, I don't agree with it, simply because you have no say in where the money goes. And it's a tax. That's all
not
it is.
True.
So
you can get your butt on the beef board on the CBB and get real involved.
That sounds like a whole thing, though.
It is a whole thing, but it's how you're involved. I gotta tell you though, you have caused me sleepless nights. I'm getting all autistic libertarian because I do see what you're saying about checkoff being a tax. And is this like my inconsistency that's going to give me a heart attack late at night? But damn it, I don't know what else we do.
Well, and I don't disagree that the checkoff can be a good thing. I think the income tax can be used for good. Sometimes it is. But at the core of it, it's still a tax. And if it was that good, people would pay into it voluntarily. Anyhow, I don't think that's where the fight is. In the grand scheme of things, you're talking about the beef industry being a multi-billion-dollar industry, and the checkoff program brings in about $80 million a year, which is a lot of money. Soon to be not as much money as you'd think. But when you're talking multiple billions versus 80 million, the checkoff program is not the problem. It might be a branch off problem of like the core issue, but like that's not a hill I'm gonna die on. It's a $1, $1 per head tax, and at some point you can just say I'm not gonna pay it, and sue me or whatever. And I think if enough people did, the beef board would realize, hey, maybe we ought to change some shit. But
have
I don't
you
see that
seen
happening.
There's a petition right now to recall it. Have you seen that?
That was an RCAF petition, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it's in effect from now. It started like early July through July 2021.
Yeah, I saw that floating around, and I don't think I signed it, but because I don't know, I try to be consistent. Like I know, like I'm free speech absolutist. I'm free market absolutist. Even if that means the market's gonna take business away from me. Well, that just means I have to change my business to adapt to the market, or I've got to make a case of why that market over there is not where you want to be. Like it's at the end of the day, you're selling yourself. Your product is an extension of yourself. And if enough independent producers like the RCAF folks like to talk about, if they actually take the time and say, hey, what is best for me? Not the government get involved, but how can I change my operation to what you may not make a profit this year, but maybe you cut into your losses, whether that be, selling directly to a consumer or selling to a cooperative, or, maybe getting out of the cow-calf game and running stockers, whatever the case may be. I don't know, it's different for everybody. There's different forages, there's different situations, but the people I see standing up and yelling the loudest about how the market is rigged against us and we need the government to step in are the people that are not spending any time at all, really, marketing their own damn product. And when you market your own damn product, you can slap any fucking label you want on it, as long as it's, so if you're a US beef diehard, sell your beef like Stetson Ranches. And they're a sponsor. Yes, they pay me. I believe in what they're doing. They've got a good idea. because they don't have to go get it passed through Congress to put a U.S. beef label on their product. No, that's their own beef. They can say this is Stetson Ranch's beef. It was raised in Fromberg, Montana. And there's no legislation involved there. The bottleneck is the packers. And until we get away from some of the regulations that cause these smaller folks to not expand or not be able to sell product retail, then those big four packers will continue to have a monopoly, even if you break them up. So then you have, instead of 4 packers, you have minimum 8 packers. But they're still the same people, same companies. It's the same thing when they broke up Standard Oil and U.S. Steel. So instead of I think it was 3 big oil producers, you had 34 big oil producers, but they were all the same damn people. And it's the same. The market gets run the same way. They just have a minor hurdle, but at the end of the day, the cowman doesn't see any benefit from it. So the cowman has to take his own cattle, figure out what is the best thing to do for him, and then sometimes that means making your own damn market, because the market that makes sense for you doesn't exist. So you might have to create it. And that sucks. It's tough, and you might lose some money for a while. But if you're good enough, smart enough, and got enough, enough guts to do it, you might just stick it out enough to where when you come out on the other end, you'd be way ahead of a lot of folks. And I don't know. I say this not owning any land, or not any real land, and I don't own any cattle. So that could be me not having any skin in the game, but that's how I see it.
But you kind of hit on something that I think is going on that nobody really wants to address because it might offend people. And if you look at the average size of individual herds across the US, it's getting smaller and smaller. We're getting more producers, but they have fewer cows because these are hobby farmers. And that's fine. I'm not trying to take a dig at them, but I get really concerned when these people who aren't making their living in the cattle industry are trying to make decisions that will impact all of us. You know, this is my livelihood. So when I've got some guy that's got 10 cows running in his backyard, you know, please let me run my thing because this is my livelihood.
Yep. Yeah. And you're spoken like a true libertarian. Do your thing, I'll do mine. Don't tell me how to do mine, I won't tell you how to do yours. And it's, I don't know, I think it's a very oversimplified view of things, but that's, at the end of the day, that's how life works. And the less restrictions there is for, people like you and Logan's ranch, where you run, pretty considerable amount of cattle. What works for the 50 head, small time rancher in Alabama is not going to work for you guys. It's not going to work for the Wine Cup and Gamble up in Elko County, where they're running, 5, 6, 7,000 head of mama cows. That's a whole different spectrum of things. But at the end of the day, when you bring things before Congress, it all gets simplified down to one single meaning. There's no nuance. And on top of that, you get all these earmarks from these different people. And so if the legislation that you proposed eventually gets passed, who the hell knows what it's going to say at the end of it? It could be meaningless, or it could be worse than what you started with. Just depends on how they change the language. And that's a reality. That's how DC works. That's how Denver works. That's how Carson City works. What is the capital of Vermont? I should know that. Montpelier.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's how that works up there too. I mean, it's it's one of the flaws of the Constitution, if you want to call it that, is you have a right to seek redress from your government. and AKA that means lobbying. And well, those who have more money get more things. And the less power the government has to change that, the less incentive it is to spend money on Capitol Hill, whether it be in DC or Carson City. And the more people are just left to their own devices, I think. But anyhow, that's my soapbox for the night. Ladies, it's been fun. You guys didn't get too mad at me, so I think that's a success.
You didn't work on offending too much.
Well, I didn't want to piss you guys off. I figured you'd be fine with a couple of good jokes. I didn't want to push it too far because I don't have a huge audience. I've got a decent audience, but I really don't need to be losing listeners. So if I'll try to mitigate that. But no, I appreciate you guys coming on. It was a fun conversation, and we'll do it again one of these days.
Heck yeah.
Kate, you got to get out of the Eastern time zone. It's too hard to.
I know.
It's too hard to meet up with you.
I know. Terrible.
I know you're
about that.
Yeah, I know you're a diehard New Englander, but man, I think you got to cut your losses at that point.
No, it makes me so sad. You guys will have to find a place where I can relocate. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I would say Nevada, but they're floating the idea of a state income tax again, and fuck all that.
I'm still going to push Uruguay. We all need to move to Uruguay. I don't know if you've watched any of that South American rodeo, but that shit is crazy entertaining.
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of Mexican rodeos, and that shit gets wild.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine what South American looks like. I know the Argentina Cowboys. They don't dally at all. They tie hard with a 60-foot rope to the cinch ring.
Yep.
Yeah, they tie to their front cinch.
Saddle.
Yeah. There's no saddle horn, and you are tied hard to your cinch ring. I'm out on all that, but it's fun to watch.
So we'll all just relocate down to Uruguay, and it'll be great.
Uruguay, the second annual Burning Daylight Resendivus will be in Uruguay. We'll get some local bands to play. All right, Jen, we're Black Dragon Cattle on Facebook.
Yep.
All right, anywhere else? Anything else you want to pitch?
No, check out blackherfords.org.
All right, cool. Sam, how about you?
Fantastic Beer Egg on Instagram.
You really need to change your handle to that white bitch Sam. I think that'd be awesome.
The white bitch Samtastic.
There you go.
Right.
That joke all started because Oregon made the mask mandate mandatory for all non-white folks. So that's where
that's not racist.
That's where that whole No, not at all. Kate, how about you?
I'm mostly busy on Instagram. It's a good place to find me. It's Meadowdale Farm. Also on Facebook, Meadowdale Farm, and then meadowdalefarm.com if you want to see a rundown of our little farm, which is really small compared to what you guys do. So
I think you probably got it tougher than we do. You might be smaller scale, but you got a bigger in the headache department. So,
amen.
Katie.
I hang out on Instagram mostly too at Katie Killa, and just a lot of solo buckaroo girl stuff going on out here in Northern Nevada.
Awesome. Well, I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you guys we still got a couple people listening. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week, and